Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 13 Thursday night DraftKings Showdown, and we have a great matchup between the New Orleans Saints and the, let's just say, back to full strength Dallas Cowboys. This game opened in favor of the New Orleans Saints, and it has completely shifted all the way over to the Cowboys. A full touchdown, three and a half point favorites. This opened for the Saints, and now it's 4.5 points in favor of the Cowboys. Sorry, an 8-point jump in the spread from when it opened, last week. So this is going to be a fun and interesting game. Lots of studs on display, and we have Taysom Hill at quarterback, it seems, for New Orleans this week. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to take a look at some underdog pick'ems, fill out a sheet there. We're going to go through the slate, talk about the correlations that you should build through your tournament lineups on DraftKings. And then we're going to take a look at how to build those lineups in using the Fantasy Labs Optimizer. So there's a link down below if you wanted a discounted subscription to Fantasy Labs, whether it's for NFL only or one of the combo subscriptions that they offer for all sports, including NBA and golf and everything else that's going as well. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell. I cannot explain to you how much those 3 clicks actually matter. The like really helps push it in the algorithm. So does subscribing. I know that like 45% of the people that watch this channel are returning viewers and not subscribed, and ringing that notifications bell also lets YouTube know that not only do you like the content, but you are coming back for that content and want it to appear in your feed. So it really helps the channel find new viewers. So I'd appreciate it if you would do that. Let's see if we can get, I don't know, 700 likes on this video in the next, 36 hours before this game kicks off. I think that we can do it. Let's see if you can, and let's hit the video now.
He's a legend.
So here's what I was talking about. If I take a look over here at the Fantasy Labs Vegas page, this is a free page on Fantasy Labs. You go over to NFL, down here to Vegas, and this will show you that like this game opened here and it's completely flip-flopped now to the Cowboys favored by 8. The totals come down a couple of points, but still a very healthy 47.5 in this spot. So let's go over to Underdog Fantasy. If you use the promo code ALSMIZZLE on your first deposit, you get a gift, something. Sometimes it's $10. I believe recently they've been running a $100 match on your first deposit. So use that code. It lets me track how well I'm doing with these promos. And you can play these for a pick 'em of 2, 3, 4, or 5 for a 3x, 6x, 10x, or 20x payout. I'm an idiot, so I like to bet overs because it's fun. Obviously, unders are way more sharp. They have more of a possibility of coming in, and parlays are tough to hit as it is. So with the news that Ezekiel Elliott should be handling a full workload this week, so they say, let's go with Ezekiel Elliott to go over 19.5 yards. And they also are getting back Amari Cooper from the COVID list and CeeDee Lamb from concussion. Everybody's back in this spot. So like a fully operational battle station. So give me Dak Prescott over 280. And then let's take a look at what they offer here for us. Not all that much. Goodness gracious. There is not all that much offered on the New Orleans side. Give me Traquan under 41.5 in this spot. There's no real overs for me to bet there because of all the unknowns that we're going to talk about with them. $50 to win 300. Submit, confirm, boom, we're in. The thing that I was saying, Dallas has gone from a bare bones team around Dak, basically bare bones for Dallas, but like an embarrassment of riches for most, right? They still had Elliott, they still had Pollard, they still had Gallup, they still had Schultz, but now you add Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb back into the mix, and it's incredible how much those players matter. Everybody just says, oh well, this guy's out, so now we're just going to plug in Ced Wilson, or we're just going to plug in Noah Brown. It's like it doesn't always simply work that way, especially not in single game. I mean, it works that way in single game shown, but especially not at the NFL level, because guys like Lamb do such a good job of getting separation, of getting open, and have big playabilities, and they're going to shift the way that defenses have to defend, as well as Amari Cooper. And as great as he has been, tremendous route runner, big playability, can be counted on for a ton of targets. And looking at their target tree, we can come over here to NFL Savant. Nice little viz that they have. CeeDee Lamb on the year. This includes games that he missed. Still seeing 20.5% of the targets for the Cowboys. 68 going to Amari Cooper. It comes straight down to Dalton Schultz, and down the list they go. Ced Wilson at about 9.5%, 9.25%, 9.25%. Does provide us some good cheap value on this slate. And then Michael Gallup coming in and stepping in as a number 3 guy, and pushing Ced Wilson to the fourth wide receiver coming in rotations or when they go 4 wide. Really puts Ced Wilson in that bargain basement value guy for this slate. So if I was going to build lineups with Dak Prescott at quarterback, quarterbacks do not typically win showdowns. They can. Generally speaking, quarterbacks have won about 15% of all the showdowns ever, right? Like at captain, let's say. Like in the flex, they're always in the flex, right? Like very often are they in the flex. But like 15% total have been won by a quarterback captain. And when you consider that like typically 35 to 50% of the field, depending on who the quarterbacks are on those slates, can be utilizing a captain quarterback, they're putting themselves behind the 8 ball where they're against the math. We like to do things where we're agreeing with the math. And so that means I like to stay with like wide receivers primarily as my captains, taking up the bulk of the lineups that I'm building. And then I go to running backs, and then I'll scale down from there unless it's a really special quarterback like Lamar Jackson, who we saw in Showdown last week, did not perform very well. Those are the only quarterbacks that I might go over the total between the two at 15%. But if I'm going to build a Dak Prescott lineup with him at captain, where I think he can have that magical night of 400 yards and maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns on the ground, I'm going to and multiple passes through the air for touchdown. I'm going to go and tie 2 of his pass catchers to him. I'm not going to include the running backs, even though Ezekiel Elliott has seen a good amount of the targets this year. He is also splitting time in the passing game a little bit, especially recently with Tony Pollard. It's just not enough of a market share to force them. Now, I'm not going to keep them out of that line. I'm not going to tell the optimizer, or if you're hand building, I'm not going to tell you can't have a Dak Prescott captain lineup and utilize Ezekiel Elliott or Tony Pollard in that lineup, but I'm not going to force it. We'll include him there. We'll include the kicker in those lineups. And then possibly a Noah Brown, as I said, Ced Wilson, if he plays in this game. Non-participant on Tuesday, so monitor Wednesday, and they're not practicing, but it's a travel day. Monitor it and see if they're going to have him out. If not, that opens up Noah Brown at 600 as a very viable value play. He's not going to see 9 targets, right? But like, you don't need that in a showdown spot at 600. If he catches 1 ball for like 2.8, he catches 2 balls for 6.7 points. Every single point matters in showdown, and it can allow you to really unlock some of the pricier guys. On the other side of my Dak Prescott lineups, I'm going to include basically every offensive player for New Orleans. And New Orleans' issue right now, or at least the issue that we know, Alvin Kamara was limited at practice. He is priced way, way, way up at 11.2 in the flex, and rightfully so. He's one of the best players in the league. However, Mark Ingram is not priced up. He's only 5K, and he practiced in full on Tuesday in their final practice and prep for this Thursday night game. And we may have a situation where he's the only guy again, where they sit Kamara for 1 more week. And if that does happen, if that materializes, it's just going to make Mark Ingram like almost a must play on this slate. And maybe even though they're going to possibly be playing from behind in this game based on the way that Vegas sees it and the market sees it, Ingram at captain lineups do allow you to do a whole lot of different things with your lineups. Now, if Kamara plays, Ingram is still in play at 5K, but if Kamara is out, he's ridiculous and in every single lineup. So assuming that he's in, assuming that Kamara is going to play, I'm going to include him as well as Taysom Hill, right? We're going to wait and see how he responds to one day's practice before making an announcement on Hill or Simeon. A lot of signs from beat writers for the Saints have pointed towards Taysom Hill taking the snaps with the 1 this week in the public portions of practice. If he is the starting quarterback, I am extremely interested in playing Taysom Hill. Running back, sorry, not running backs. My apologies, Taysom. Quarterbacks that have running back type volume, guys like Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, when they're running him a lot, Lamar Jackson are absolute cheat codes for fantasy, specifically on DraftKings because of the bonus structure, and in Showdown they can completely break a slate, and we've seen him do that last season a couple of times. I'm going to work off of Taysom Hill being the primary and Simeon being the clipboard holder for this game. If it flips, flip your decision making. It's more of a pass structure, less around Taysom Hill. I will include Callaway in there, Traquan, Ingram, everybody that's an offensive player, not the kicker, in that spot. If I'm going to utilize one of, and I kind of feel like guys like CeeDee Lamb or Cooper are probably going to end up as the optimal captains on this slate based on usage, based on Jerry Jones says that Ezekiel Elliott's going to be getting I don't want to, you guys can meme all you want in the replies. He's going to get, he's going to have a big load. Jera, come on, dude. Phrasing, please. CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper are probably going to be the optimal captains from a single lineup point of view, from a cash game point of view, or from whether using a builder or hand building lineups by hand. So CeeDee Lamb jumps in that spot. I'm going to tie Dak Prescott to him. Same thing for Amari Cooper coming off the COVID list. If you believe that Amari Cooper is going to be the highest scoring player, and that is what I definitely utilize in the captain spot. I don't just use everybody in the captain. Well, if I use this really super cheap player, right? If I put Noah Brown in here, I can have everybody else. You're giving up too many points because of the 1.5x on DraftKings. The fact that the captain gets 1.5x their score, you need to have players that are going to be in the top 1, 2, or 3 in scoring on that slate in the captain spot. So if I'm going to use Cooper there, I'm going to have Prescott in there. If you think that maybe Schultz can steal a couple of touchdowns, same thing as far as that goes. And if we're building Taysom Hill lineups in captain, now Taysom Hill's a bit of a different story if he's the starting quarterback, because yes, he can run the ball, he can vulture around the goal line, but we saw last season that they don't just run him 15 to 20 times a game. They don't run a triple wing. They drop him back like they would any other quarterback in this system. He just runs a little bit more, especially around the goal line. In the case of Taysom Hill, captain lineup's going to be using every single one of their pass game options. Not going to tie Mark Ingram or Kamara to him, as we saw decreased targets to the running backs when Taysom Hill was the quarterback last year. They kind of jumped back to normal, even though if we take a look over at the target tree over here, this includes the games where Alvin Kamara didn't play. They've run this prehistoric offense all season where they're just not throwing the ball as much as they did in years past. But when he was healthy, Alvin Kamara was leading this team in terms of targets, and I would tie him with Jameis at quarterback. I would tie him with Simeon at quarterback if Kamara is healthy. Otherwise, it's just, I'm not going to say push and pray, but it's a lot of meh. It really just is. There's not much to go after here. Juwan Johnson with Troutman going on IR might see more routes and more snaps. We'll include him in that lineup. Big game, at least volume wise, right? Out of Ty Montgomery with 7 targets out of the backfield, and every target is worth 2.8 carries. We don't need him to carry the ball that much. We do want him to get targeted, and the same thing coming back with everybody on the Cowboys. I'm going to limit to 1 defense and kicker from this game. So let's go over to Fantasy Labs and take a look at the optimizer. Go over here to settings. I've already got everything loaded in. I don't allow for a kicker or a defensive captain. The 5 rules that I make: pair your captain quarterback with at least 2 wide receiver, tight end, or kicker. Pair your captain quarterback with at least 1 of the offensive players from the other team, not the kicker, and do not pair the defense with my captain quarterback. Pair the captain wide receiver with his quarterback, same team. Pair the tight end with the quarterback from the same team, and limit to at most 1 defense and kicker. And then I build that 1 player group at the end where I make sure that I'm including at least 1, and I build a group of like 4, 5, 6, 7 players that I project for under 25%, all the way down to like 3% in my lineups, or that the field is going to play, to make sure that one of those guys is in every one of my lineups. Because if you do that, if you've played Showdown before, you understand that it's a game where you're going to end up with a ton of hand holding, right? There's going to be a lot of overlap when it comes down to Showdown. What I'm trying to do is, if I'm in position to win, I want to be duplicated by as few teams as possible, and forcing at least 1 low played player into every lineup does that. It gives me an opportunity at all the money up top, and instead of tying with 100 to 500 people, when I am in position to win or have won a Showdown, it's typically where I'm with like 5, 8, 20 people max, maximizing the amount of money that I can win when I do get a takedown. So thank you guys for watching. Go check out the great tools they have over there at Fantasy Labs. Link is down below, both in the description and in the pinned comment, smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, ring the bell. Leave me a reply down below with how you're going to attack this Thursday night. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.